Hello, and thank you so much for joining us here at the Household of Faith for our daily devotionals. Today, we're going to talk about good and bad opportunities. Now, because of the fact that we are believers in Christ and we know that God can work all the things that happen to us for our good, meaning that He can use whatever circumstance or situations that we are in to help work out some of the things in us that need to be worked out. Some things need to be corrected. Some behaviors, some habits we need to let go of. Some transformation is occurring from the inside out. Transition from one place to another, from one spiritual level to another. All of these things God can do within us with our cooperation. Now, these things need to happen, but honestly, there are sometimes when we just, and I'm speaking from personal experience. Sometimes when we just don't want to cooperate with God. It seems hard, it seems harsh, it seems severe, it seems unnecessary. And I've had all these, adjectives that I've used to describe why, I didn't need to do this. But when it was all said and done, I have learned over the years and after experiencing some things and having some real heart to heart talks with the Lord about some of the things that He really wants to do in me and what He wants to see in me and to see me become. Understanding that really did help a lot. That, yes, it was for my good and what I'm, experiencing right now, yes. Is it for my good? Absolutely. And I have seen some changes. I have seen some growth. And, there was a show on years ago that I watched, and I think that little boy, Kirk Cameron, he was on Growing Pains. Sometimes growing does hurt, and we go through different things. And what we learn to recognize is the difference between a good opportunity and a bad one. When you're growing out of bad behaviors and habits into kingdom behaviors and habits, you learn to recognize that a lot of the stuff that you did in the past was bad for you. A lot of opportunities that came along weren't the best opportunities, the right opportunities, or the good opportunities that God had for you. And some of them seem right. And it's like when you're going through something and someone comes up with it appears to be the perfect solution. And you're like, yeah, it sounds wonderful. It sounds like it will take care of everything that you need, and then you get involved in it and you find out, oh my gosh, this was a terrible, a horrible mistake. And then sometimes you don't know how to get out of it. And sometimes you can't get out of it. There are things that we do, and the Lord clearly tells us not to become involved in that, not to do that, not to go there, not to do this, not to take that job, not to get involved with this person or whatever. And we do, especially, and when I say that in relationship and marriage, and we do it anyway. We just don't, and God just does not let us out of it. We have to go through it. And let me say this: when a believer gets involved in marriage with a non-believer or any type of a relationship that's going to be lasting, they are headed for trouble. I don't, and I don't subscribe to that. Oh, well, I can change that. Well, you don't have the right to change anyone. It's just not in you. You need to change yourself. And if you listen to the voice of the Lord, you won't get involved with that person. It's like, no, I need to move on. Because if that person doesn't believe what you believe, then you are definitely asking for trouble. That's a great example of opportunities, that's a bad opportunity. And that goes for friendships, anything, any type of relationship that will ultimately interfere with your relationship with God is wrong. It's just wrong for you. And that could be a friend, that could be a church that you're thinking about joining. You need to be careful about stuff like that. And you need to recognize when the Lord is telling you, no, don't do it. And God has a way of speaking to each and every one of us. And if you don't recognize His voice, then there's something wrong with you. It's not something wrong with Him, there's something wrong with you. You're not hearing it, and for the most part, probably because He's not telling you what you want to hear. And if your ears are itchy and you don't want to hear the truth, then you're going to be deceived because you're going to believe the lie. I have mentioned discernment in every single subject. And that's, I think we're going to probably end up closing this whole um, topic out on discernment because it is so important that you discern the voice of God and so that you can tell the difference between a good opportunity and a bad opportunity. It doesn't mean that if you have gotten involved in a bad opportunity that God can't turn it around, but it's not going to be instant, especially when He's already told you not to do it. There's some suffering involved in that, and it is not of His doing, it's of your own doing. And you're going to have to face that as well. God is not interested anymore in getting us a quick solution to our disobedience. It's just the way it is, okay? So think about some of the things from the past, some of the opportunities that you've taken, whether they really turned out to be good or bad, and kind of follow the guidelines when and for both so that you can recognize a bad opportunity when it comes along because they're always disguised as the perfect solution. And although God does give you solutions and opportunities that are best for you, they rarely seem like the perfect one because it's going to involve some kind of sacrifice and growth on your part. Remember that because that's His ultimate goal, to transform you into His mirror image.